In a world where it seems like everybody has their own podcast, here are some tips on how you can make yours stick out. Tip number one is to be different. Now, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but too many people get into this business and just think that they can put together a logo, interview a guest, have a cool conversation, and they'll be popular. And that's really so far from the truth. Especially if you're a business, I highly encourage you to niche down and talk about specific things, specific pain points of your industry or target segment. I also encourage, if you're doing an interview-based show, to have certain segments or maybe a fun little twist that is involved on your podcast so it's not just a conversation. Tip number two is have a business angle. I've seen too many times where businesses will come in and have a podcast that is more or less unrelated to their show, or it's a little too personal to them. And if you're interested in pursuing this from a business aspect first, it's important that your business is kind of the initial sponsor of the show. The whole podcast should be focused on educating your target client as well as attracting them to work with you. Now, while it's rare to directly make money from a podcast, there are tons of ways that you can extract value from the show for your own business. Tip number three, and this is for businesses as well as individuals, is have interesting guests. I see it far too often where people come in and they'll interview their cousin or their best friend growing up, and you'll talk about a bunch of things that nobody else knows about. It's a bunch of inside jokes, inside stories that frankly nobody cares about. Especially if you're a business, invite people that are influential in the market and you know other people would like to hear from. Ideally, it's already people that are kind of in the public eye, have a following, and help attract some new viewers to your show. But it's really important that you research this person, have good questions for them, respect their time when they come in, and again, offer them some clips from the show as some compensation for being on it. Tip number four is to extract as much content from the podcast recording as you can. In the hour and a half long conversation, you will have a full length edit that you can post to YouTube, Spotify, and other various platforms. But then you can take that one video and extract a whole bunch of other short form video content from it, or even upload it to some AI tool like Riverside or Descript and extract written content like blogs and articles from that content as well. Photos are another easy thing to grab while you're recording. Grab a couple of behind the scenes photos, a couple of photos of you and your guest, maybe once you've finished as well as when you started. These can help promote the episode and act as another little layer of content derived from the show. And tip number five is be committed. I see too many people come in 1-2 times, didn't feel like they got enough traction out of it, and call it quits. It's very unlikely that your first episode or even second episode is gonna go to the moon. So I highly encourage people commit to doing, let's say 8 to 12 episodes, a season's worth of content. This will also help you get some repetition and practice in. So hopefully by mid-season, you'll have some wind in your sails and a lot more traction.